Good morning and welcome from the West Coast. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host for a live stream, and we're going to sit here and fight CPS. And of course, hang on to our children, get our children back, keep our families together. But I've been doing this live stream for over 2 years now, and um, I hope that you're well. I know that a lot of you are struggling being involved with CPS. And for those that don't know what CPS is, I call it the Child Protection System. Sometimes it's called the Child Protection Services. It has other names and other acronyms. Department of Children and Family Services. In Richmond, Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. But anything that deals with the protection of our children, I call the CPS system. It's found in every county in every state. It's also worldwide. We have over 2,500 people that have come on this show in over 30 countries. Recently, this past couple of days, I've had a person from Scotland, uh, Heather Stewart, and she's talked as a guest on my live stream. And um, I really like to have you be a guest on my live stream. I can take up to 10 of you, including me. That's just like 9 plus me is 10. All you have to do is contact me at 626 690, um, excuse me, 698 0990. And then you got my email at Bob P. Vincent at Bob P at VincentWDavis.com. And you just text me your name, first and last, your phone number, your email, and your location. And I'll get you as a guest on my show. Hold on a second here. Okay, now I work for the law offices of Vincent W. Davis. He's my attorney, and if you're in need of an attorney, he's one of the best attorneys around. Their office is 888-888-6582. It's at the bottom of my screen. Now, I cannot take live calls at the moment. I'm trying to get my computer repaired. So right now, I'm using another device that it has the application I use StreamYard, but Vonage, my phone application, does not work at the same time. Like if I answer a call in Vonage, then StreamYard can't hear me talking, or can't hear other people can't hear you talking. So hopefully in a couple days we'll be able to go live stream again and get my computer up and running. CPS is a hard thing to swallow because they're supposed to protect their children from neglect and abuse. Now, types of abuse are physical and mental. Physically is undue hardship, corporate punishment, such as using a stick or your belt or another device is causing welts. Um, it's best to do a timeout there. Timeouts are always the greatest thing. I think that, timeouts weren't used when I was growing up, but I think timeouts have come really, I don't know if they started from football or what, because in football, you have a timeout. It's when you need time to reconsider something. Well, the same thing is with children. Children should not be spanked or whipped or corporate punishment. They should have a timeout. That's a life skill that I have many, many life skills. You see, I'm a dinosaur. I'm 76 years old, and I have over 61 years of life skill experiences as long as I've been working in life. I started at the age of 15, and I've not looked back, and I'm still working today. And that's a long time. That's a long time. And Going back to timeouts, is that usually you'll set a child who's exhibiting some bad behavior and you need them to stop and think about the bad behavior and correct it. And you'll send them off to the room or some other place. Uh, I think being put on a stool with a dunce cap is not the way to do it. I guess that was the form of an early timeout when they used to put people on at school. If they did something wrong at school, they'd be put on a chair with a dunce cap on. I need to do investigation of the history of a timeout. But anyway, that's a lot better than being physically abusive to a child. Also, a parent should take a timeout. If you're angry, whether you're at the workplace, wherever it is, you need to take, 5 or even 10-minute timeout. It gets you to recollect your thoughts, to keep the anger down. It's a lot of times in families, we have husbands and wives arguing, and that's not good. That's not good. And most times they're arguing about things that are hard, couples that come together. Money is probably one of the hardest things to deal with a married couple because there's a lot of things they want, there's a lot of things they can't afford, but they somehow buy them and things like that. So timeouts is good. If I'm angry, I go for a walk down the beach. I'm lucky I live 3 blocks from the ocean. This live stream is being broadcast from Surf City, USA, south of Los Angeles. West Coast in California. I'm on 3 times a day. One at 8 a.m. in the morning Pacific Standard Time. Next one is at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the evening show is on at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it's 8, 1, and 6. So 3 times a day that I talk about CPS. So if you have a question, type it in. Post your comment, and I will answer your comment. All I ask is your name and your location. And if you're from, the United States, you don't have to you just put your city and state. And then from the rest of you in the world, it's your city and province and country. Maybe you have a province, but or a state. Australia has states, so like the state of Victoria, so it'd be Victoria. Melbourne is a city in Australia, so the Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. But in the United States, you just put in like Los Angeles, California, Boston, Massachusetts. I've talked to all 50 states. I've talked to about 5 provinces in Canada. And of course, I've talked to Alaska and Hawaii. They're really far removed. And I have a lot of regular people, and I really cherish those regular people. And I'm glad that you've joined me every day to help others, to help yourselves. It's a hard thing to go CPS. And one of the most important tools that you'll need when you want to fight them is an attorney. And I'm here to talk to you about an attorney and also my experiences. I too was a victim of CPS. And I can share with you stories. Plus, I've talked to over 2,500 people that have told me a lot. I had one lady in South Africa, a province in South Africa, that was having a terrible time with CPS. And then a lady in Leeds, England, another lady in Scotland, in Wales, then down, uh, I don't have anything from Europe. I don't think I've talked to anybody in Europe. I thought maybe I talked to a German, but I can't remember. But I know that I've talked to people in the Middle East. Trying to remember what the country was in the Middle East. It was boy, I got to look at my notes on that. It's been a while. But I know I've had one country in the Middle East, and then I've had India and Bangladesh and Indonesia and New Zealand and Australia, and then 4 or 5 countries in the continent of Africa. But whatever your CPS case is, I'm here to help you work through it. It's an area that a lot of people aren't educated or know enough about it. It's found in the United States in every city and every county. So I know in North Carolina, there's approximately 100 counties. So they have 100 CPSs. California has 50 counties. So they have 50 CPSs. And California is a lot more popular state, a lot more people. So there's some discrepancies down there. But it was in the, excuse me, the 60s that they started the child protection system. And I was talking about physical abuse. And I mentioned that there's, of course, the physical part, but there's also mental abuse. If a child is constantly yelled at or screamed at, or the parents are still screaming, it can cause uh, mental issues. Now, the other part is neglect. Now, when a child is neglect, that means they're not taken care of. There's no food provided to them, not taken to school, not taken to the doctors, no treatment done, uh, not wearing proper clothes, not bathing. These are things that are neglect, especially in young children, how they're taken care of and stuff. So there could be troubles with neglect and abuse. And we do have, they say an estimate is about 1,000 people a day or 1,000 children go unreported that are being abused physically or neglected. And that's a lot of people, 1,000 children per day. Wow. But there are two kinds of reporters who report this to the child protection system. There are your professional reporters, such as doctors and nurses, school teachers and counselors, nurses and administrators, caregivers, policemen and firemen. Those individuals are what are called professional people that take a class in it because by law, they're required to report any signs of abuse or neglect by law. So that's where the calls come in. The other group that make the calls are the lay people. These are your family and friends, your acquaintances, the guy that works at the store at the street, the gas station, whatever. Those are acquaintances. Now, these two groups together do most of the calling in. And they should call in to 911 if there's a suspected abuse. The reason being is that there's a written record. A lot of times when they call into the police or call into the CPS, it gets lost and things get some distorted. I hate to say it, that the government agency, social service that handles CPS, 50% of the CPS entities uh, are bad. That's 50-50 chance. The professional reporters get it right 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time, they not get it right. The lay people are worse. They get it right about 25% of the time. What that means, there's a lot of false allegations being made. And CPS will use it to their advantage because their whole thing is about money. It's a money-making business. That's why, I hate to say it, some of them are crooked. They embello funds, or they take funds themselves and use them wrongly. Like there is a case in Richmond, Kentucky, where $1 million of funds is unreported where it went. They found 600 of it with a social worker who was taken the funds. The other 400 they're still trying to figure out. There is no really uh, watchdog on CPS, which is sad to say. There is a director at every county, and there's supervisors and managers that say of department stuff, but there's no supervised board of what they're doing, how they're collecting money, or so forth. I know when my three children were taken, they were getting $20,000 a day. $20,000 a day. I mean, not day. I'm sorry, per month. And it was um, three of my children. That's $60,000. It does not cost $60,000 to take care of a child, even if you put them in a fancy hotel and so forth. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and um, that's a little excessive there. I think when I go to search the internet or use other applications, my face freezes. So I don't know that. But anyway, there's several of you in my room here, hoping for a lot more that come in here. I'm glad to see you. Oops, we lost somebody. As soon as I said that, they disappear. I have 8 rooms that are tied to it. 7 are on Facebook and one's on YouTube. And how you usually find me is you go to Facebook and you see it or you type it in and you come there. And anyway, I'm glad you are here, but I want to help you. In order to me to help you, you have to uh, post me a comment so I can help you. So I can help you there. Um, now, one of the important things is that when you get a knock at the door, you don't answer. Not because you're trying to be disrespectful, is because you don't know what danger lurks at your front door. Too many people are being kidnapped and shot at and killed. And of course, children are being taken and parents are being broken up from the children. So, with that being said, I recommend that you don't answer the door unless you know who the person is. Now, today, the technology, there's fancy doorbell cameras or cameras. So, hopefully, when the doorbell rings or a knock at the door, you'll see if your camera. What you don't want to do is you don't want to answer the door because you don't know who it is. Now, if you can see that it looks like somebody trying to sell something or a policeman, usually policemen that come to a home is not good news. I don't think too many policemen stop by and said, "Hello, how's the family doing?" No, they come there either they're coming to investigate a crime or suspected of a crime, or social workers have asked them to come for their protection. Too many social workers are being hurt by irate family members when they come in there the door and stuff. That's why it's best not to answer. I think uh, why they have to come in because they got a mandate that within 24 hours they need to investigate. Also, the position a social worker takes is that you're guilty until you're proven innocent. It's like any other crime where you're innocent until you're proven guilty, which I think is really wrong. Um, it's important that they come out, especially if it's bad seeing to a child. Writing a letter may take too long. because usually it's 5 to 7 days for the letter to get there. And which is a shame because it should get there right away. We pay now 75 cents a stamp, almost $1 a stamp now. I still remember the days that we only paid 5 cents for a stamp or a penny. You know, things have changed in the last. It seems as each year goes, it moves ahead by 5 years or something. It's the way price has gone and so forth. But anyway, 98 the door is for your own protection. And if you don't have a camera, you can't really see. So you should, because too many people I said that have been either kidnapped, or killed, or robbed. They want to case out the joint. They want to see what you have in your home. So that's the scenario. They'll come there and say, I'm coming here to sell you cookies. Well, you invite them in, you just have them see your home, they look around, they see, oh, it's great. They either come back later and rob you or pull out a gun and hold you up. It's just not sense. Now, if you're accused of a crime, you are entitled to an attorney. It's your constitutional right at all times. A lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that. There's only 3 ways they get in your home. First way is you let them in. You open the door and you invite them into your home. The second way is they're chasing a crime, meaning that they came by, maybe a crook ran into the house, or there's loud screaming going on and a child's being hurt, or someone's being hurt, like a neighbor called, and there's heavy domestic violence that's become physical. They're going to enter the home if you don't allow them in, because it's for the safety of whoever is being hurt. Now, maybe if it is an argument, both of you can step outside and listen to what they have to say. If they say it's regarding your child, you need to ask them if this is a legal matter. If it's a legal matter, you have a right to postpone the meeting and have your lawyer present when you discuss it with them. And that's so important to have your lawyer present. It really is. Because you can end up saying something wrong or doing something wrong that's going to make your case worse. So depending what it is, if it's a CPS matter, definitely have a lawyer. But the lawyer's got to be trained and educated in 3 areas. First one is called dependency law. Dependency law. The second one is family law. And the third one is juvenile law. They should have training in those 3 areas background. A lawyer should. And if you're getting a CPS, they should at least have experience fighting CPS and won cases. That's the kind of attorney you're looking for. Why do you need an attorney? Because the CPS will lie and cheat. You don't know. It's one of those offers you don't know is bad. 50%. I'm telling you, it's 50%. Why? Well, 100% of over the 2,500 people said that CPS did something wrong to them. Now, I can't say it's 100% because I haven't talked to everybody around, but 2,500 people is a lot of people. And some of them said some good things, some said bad things. I've talked to a social worker. I've talked to several foster parents. You know, I've talked to third parties that try to assist or help. But the common thing they all have is that CPS did me wrong. The child protection system did me wrong. And that's why if you have an attorney present, they can tell you what to say, what not to say, what to do, because your case is being investigated. You're guilty because anybody that calls in has labeled you guilty. You think maybe that's unfair and it should not be that way, but it is. And their goal is to take that child because they want to make money. The more children they get into custody, the more money they make. So that's what it is. It's their goal to make money. And I am really don't want to see that happen to you. So um, if you see a policeman or you see somebody you don't recognize, then don't answer the door. Be quiet, and whatever you do, don't answer the door. Have your children be quiet. The other family members be quiet. Because that's what I do when I hear the door knock, the doorbell ring. I say, "Quiet, everybody." I don't say it loud. I just say, "Quiet, everybody." And then I investigate. You look out a window, or you look through the door eyepiece or the camera. And I think most people have a camera, so I think that's the way that most people are going is with a camera. Um, if you do encounter them outside or you do let them in, um, you ask them if this is a legal matter. If they say yes, you just say very nicely, "Well, I'd like to talk to you about it, but I need my attorney present. It's my constitutional rights. We'll have to reschedule this right away, either the next day or the day after, because they have to get onto this." And that's the way to do it. If you don't live in the house, you don't have to worry about that. Um, Now, outside there, they may leave a card. Usually, when a policeman or a social worker, the legit, will leave a card. "Please call me at such and such a number," and they have their name on it. But again, there's a lot of corruption, so I can't tell you who's good and who's bad. I really don't know. And your life is at stake with that being said. Your life is at stake. Now, hopefully they leave shortly thereafter and they left a card. If they haven't, it still should be a time to consult your attorney, and he or she will tell you what to do. If they're a good attorney. Well, that leads me to how to get an attorney. Now, I have one I work for. His name is Vincent W. Davis. He is well trained in dependency law, juvenile law, and family law, those three areas of law. He's also gotten back thousands of children back and got families reunited. Just recently, he finished a case in Santa Barbara County, California. He was working with a man named David Alago from Santa Maria. Now, he was wrongfully accused a year ago uh, by his daughter and by family friends that he was doing improper things to her. And they investigated initially and they didn't find anything. But later, the daughter was interviewed, said nothing. But later, they interviewed from coaching. They found out that they did say it. So CPS opened up a case against him. Now, he came on my show, just like you all are listening. And he listened and he asked for help. And so I told him about Vincent Davis. And so I'm just giving this example. This is winning. I think I've gotten close to 10 people for Mr. Davis in my last 2 years. And David is one of the most recent ones. He's a nice man. In fact, he called me yesterday and told me the good news. My attorney told me on Saturday that last week he was found not guilty. Now, he still has to get his daughter back. It's going to be a period of 6 months where they watch him. He does further drug testing. This thing about drug testing, I don't know. They think everybody does drugs. I never done drugs, and so they were drug testing me the whole time. So anybody that is incarcerated is drug tested all the time. It's not just water, but it's like a weekly test. Now, in my case, the test was provided free to me at no charge. That was my income status. A lot of you have to pay for it. It's expensive, $100 or $200 a pop, and once a week, that's a lot of money. See, that's one thing that social workers seem to be not very knowledgeable. That when people are struggling with food and shelter and clothing, it's because financially they're not in good shape. Now, maybe they just lost their job. Maybe they're an older person that's undergoing physical problems. I mean, um, I was in my 60s when my last child was born. I have 6 children, one in the 40s, uh, two in the 30s, and then 3 in the 20s. That's my 3 youngest. I think my last one was in 2005. So, hold on one second. I'm going to have to tell the person about that call. Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry for the interruption. That was a caller that called in. Her name is Christina Reynosa. She's from the Las Vegas area in Nevada. And she had a question about Vincent Davis doing representing with a lawsuit. So I have to get back to her again. Again, I can only operate one device, one application, one device. When I try to operate 2 applications, which is StreamYard and Vonage, if I go from StreamYard to Vonage, then you guys can't hear me, and StreamYard just shows me just with no sound. If I go on StreamYard, then I can't take the calls. So if you have something you want to address me, go ahead and type in your comment, put your comment in there. So, uh, we were uh, talking about a lawyer, and I mentioned David and how good Vincent was. He's also a trial attorney. If it was a criminal matter, he can handle the trial. He has that experience. Also, he can do civil lawsuits. When your case is over, if you've been done wrong by CPS, he can sue them, and it will. He can win millions and millions of dollars. The thing is, he does charge a fee. He's not pro bono. but he does a lot of free advice on his live stream. He does. I know he's talked to people and stuff. So he's a really excellent attorney. By the way, he can be reached at 888-888-6582. It's the number screening down below. And when you do call, make sure you tell the people that answer the phone that Bob Pace sent you and you want to speak to Mr. Davis. When you do talk to Mr. Davis, they'll tell you how they get in touch and they'll set up an appointment. Make sure you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. All right? It's very important that he knows who the call was. You're considered a potential new client, a PNC. And I do hope you call because I did hire him. And right now in LA County, where his office is in Arcadia, he is his retainer is $5,000. His hourly rate is $550 an hour. $550 an hour. So there's one attorney that I strongly recommend. Now you probably say, well, what happens if I'm in Wisconsin? Well, to go to Wisconsin is about $125,000 retainer. Reason why it's more money is because of the distance. You're far away, so he has to do air transportation, ground transportation, accommodations because he's away from home, and food because he does at home. You can cook food easier than you can in a hotel or motel. It costs money. Plus, he needs a license for that state to practice it. But he can go to Wisconsin, he can go to Maine, he can go to North Carolina, Florida, wherever. He has done many other states. But, finances is hard. Now, you can't ask for a court-appointed attorney. It says that not only are you constitutional right, it says that you're allowed an attorney in all facets of your legal matter. Also, if you can't afford an attorney can be appointed to you. The trouble is that the attorneys that work for CPS are not going to fight your case. They have limited amount of time because CPS keeps them burdened with 30 to 50 cases. That's a lot of cases. And they spend all their time in the courtroom, Monday through Friday, in the morning to the afternoon. I mean, they don't do it typically where a lawyer goes out of his office because those lawyers take one or two or three cases. And so CPS does that purposely because, they want to keep them busy so they don't do a good job, which is sad. Now, these court-appointed attorneys are usually fresh out of law school. They're trying to get some experience practicing law. And also, they don't have the time. They bounce from client to client. When I had a court-appointed attorney, I had to wait outside the courtroom to talk to them. And when they come out to talk to you, they give you about 5 minutes. And that's because you're not paying for them. And I couldn't afford an attorney. I could not afford an attorney of $550 or $100. I had lost my job in 2010 and my matter came to court in 2015. And for 5 years, CPS was trying to find something that we as a family did wrong. And I think it is when people call in, and I was unknown that it was my in-laws, my wife's mother and father and 3 sisters and a brother that were calling in once a week saying something wrong. Why? They've never loved me as a father, a husband, and they really treated their daughter like she was Cinderella. It's really a shame when people treat other people. You should be kind and treat everybody with kindness. And that wasn't the case. What happened is that they'd call once a week, make allegations like we didn't have any utilities on. Well, when the social worker came out, I showed them the utility box. I showed the electric meter running. I showed copies of bills I paid in the gas, the water, the electric, everything there. Then another time was about we had no food for the family. When they came by, I brought them in the house, showed the refrigerator, showed them the area where we prepared the food, and show where they ate the food. I had a formal dining room. I mean, I had over a 7-digit home, a 7-digit home, and it was in a private neighborhood with CC&Rs. It wasn't gated, but it was private. It was marked private, and only residents were supposed to be in there. It was a mile from the beach. It's a good neighborhood, and everything looked nice and clean and tidy. It wasn't that bad when they came to visit. Then they called again. Well, this went on for 5 years. Again, I didn't know it was my family to after this whole thing. I had to finally, if I knew what it was, I would have put a stop to it. But I should have got an attorney, and that goes to back with Vincent Davis. It would have saved me more money. I could afford a little bit of an attorney, I guess. I had a credit card I could have used, or I finally realized the way I was going to do this is I didn't want to take another mortgage out of my home. I already had a credit line, and that was fully utilized, and nothing was left. I was paying it off, and I had a mortgage. You see, I got into a serious problem with my home. Um, I had a lender that is very corrupted called Countrywide. They gave me what's called a predatory loan. A predatory loan is where they overqualify somebody that isn't qualified for the amount of money. Of course, I had left and I sold my home for 550 and bought an $853,000 home. Of course, it went up value to over 7 digits. Uh, so with a predatory loan, I mean, I was maxed out with my first and second. That's why they gave me a second. I could not believe why I needed a credit line. But then I know because I couldn't pay the property taxes. And so I started feeding into the credit line. As soon as you use the credit line, you have to start paying it back. And it had a 3% interest, which was good for those days. My mortgage was at 2%. And I with taxes and my mortgage, everything was costing about $5,000 a month. With expenses is another 5,000. So in California, it's expensive. So I had a expense of $10,000 a month. So I needed a job that paid it. And of course, I was very blessed to have a good high paying job. It was a good job. It was a good job. But unfortunately, this mess escalated. I didn't take it seriously. I did a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of rules I've come up with that would help you. But I made a terrible, terrible mistake underestimating the government. I thought I could be honest with them. I thought I could be truthful with them. So getting an attorney would have saved my home, would have saved so much. I just waited too long to get one. I tried to fight it because I could write letters and I could stand up for myself, but I did not have the money or the power base that the director of CPS in Orange County had. He worked out of a Taj Mahal office. I met with him. His people that worked for him worked out of small concrete, low kind of buildings, not modern or anything. He worked out of state of the art. It's like the Taj Mahal in India. It was the Taj Mahal of Orange County. Then on top of that, uh, there's another match to it. It was green, like the Emerald City of Oz. That real fancy green looking building or where Oz was. Anyway, that's all fictitious, but this was real. And the director went in one ear, went out the other ear. And I see where all the money's being spent. It isn't being spent helping out children. It's spending to live a lavish lifestyle. And it's wrong. It's wrong. I've been back there. I don't know if they changed anything, but CPS doesn't have any board of directors or supervisors that watchdog over them. They get money, they spend money, and there's no accountability. They also will lie and have you do needless things you don't need to. Like this, there must be some kickback for all these drug tests. I mean, if you're automatically accused, you automatically are thought of as a druggie and you have to do a test. And that's wrong. They did the test for me for a year and they found nothing. And whoever paid for the test, they wasted money. And so it was tough. It's tough when you realize you wish you could have done it all over differently. If I knew what I knew now, I never would have been involved in CPS. I mean, I would involved in CPS, but I would never have my children taken. And I would know about an attorney. There's something also I discovered is that there are legal insurance. Yes, you heard me right. They have pet insurance. They have car insurance. They have car repair insurance. They have home insurance and home repair insurance. And they have animal insurance, life insurance. Well, they have legal insurance. So if you have a legal matter like a DUI, they have money to pay that attorney. And the same thing goes for anything else you get involved in. So you should look into legal. And I think it's affordable. I found a quote for $500 a year. Divide that by 12 months, and that's your monthly premium to pay. I think it's $50 a month or something. It's affordable. Of course, you got to have a job. I mean, if you don't have a job, then it's not affordable. But I wish I'd done that. Wish I had some type of legal insurance. But unfortunately, I did. So what this live stream is a lot about is sharing you my experiences and what I did wrong and help you work through the court case. Like, what is a 388? What is ICWA? The ICWA Act of 1979. There's a lot of like the 180 form, the 160 form. There's all kinds of different things. How do you get copies of your paper that's entered into court? You go to the clerk. It's your records. You can ask for it. If you're low income, you can provide for you free. You got to prove when you're low income, by the way. It isn't just the word of the mouth. But there's a form you fill out and they'll waive the cost of copy. But you can get copies of forms you don't have. And, I have all that paperwork and I wish I had found a notebook and stuck it all in there. My problem is I didn't know how to keep track of it. I guess I was so emotional and distraught by all this happening. My children taken away. My wife and I are sitting there, really sadness there. That does affect you. You see, when the government agency is powerful enough to trick you, to lie to you, and take your children, not only take your children, put you through hell. When your children are taken, they're completely lost what was going on. And today, there's still problems with all my children that were taken, all three of them. Now, two were returned to me, but unfortunately, my daughter, who was 12 years old at that time, divorced us as parents. She was coached by the judge. She was coached by the CASA worker. That's the court-appointed service advocate, I think it is. I know it's court-appointed, but I think S stands for service, and advocate is A. But them and the social worker, they helped her get a new birth certificate, had her first one sealed. I found out about that by going to the public records. You got a new social security card, social number, so that she can double dip from a retirement plan. Double dip. I already was getting benefits to take care of my children. As an older person, you get Social Security, you get additional help to take care of your children. But she somehow was told to get a new Social Security card, and then that money that was being sent to me was doubled up on that new Social Security card and sent to um, her foster parents. She wanted to be adopted, and she did get adopted. Um, I don't know. All this is hearsay because I've not seen the documentation. All I know is I remember the judge asked her, "Are you sure you want to go through with the divorce? Because not only you divorce your mom and dad, you're divorcing your family members, your brothers and other sisters. You're divorcing your grandparents. You're divorcing your cousin. It's a heavy thing to divorce. And I don't think children to get divorced unless they have a real good reason to. But they don't ask for a reason. It should be where their life is threatened or they had a horrible upbringing or discipline or whatever. But there was nothing they could come up with. And by the way, when they finally, after 5 years, they finally, social services got a detective to figure out where I drive to because they wanted to have me. They're afraid if they show up, I wouldn't let them in. Or I don't know. It's really funny how the law works. If I knew now, I would have told them when the detective that followed me when I picked up my son, my 9-year-old son, and they followed me, and then he called a black and white to pull me over for a false vehicle uh, infraction or whatever it was. Something about I didn't stop long enough at a stop sign. But I was already 5 miles away from where that stop sign was. So I don't know why it'd take them 5 miles to pull me over. That's what was so terrible. I know it was bogus, but they knew that the detective that isn't in black and white, is in uniform, couldn't pull me over. So with a black and white, you have to pull over. You have to pull over. And I asked him, how can I help you? He said, do you know that you didn't stop fully at the stop sign? I said, well, I do my count 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, and then I proceed ahead. And he says, well, there's a person behind me that needs to talk to you. And he came out and he had a badge on. He was detective undercover. His car was not a police car. And so that's how he got me talking to the detective. And I should have said then and there, give me the vehicle, give me the ticket. And I'll go to court and fight it. Give me the traffic ticket. Or if the detective wanted me to accusation of something, then accuse me, write me up, take me in. I will, I should have gone and got my wife who's being picked up by me. That's where I was going to. I was going from my son's elementary school to downtown to pick her up. She never heard from me because uh, the policeman ordered me to go home straight away. The detective said not to use my phone. Now, you know, there's a lot of things in life you seem to want to respect, but I should have used my phone. I should have told my wife, help. If I knew about an attorney, I said, well, call Mr. Davis and have him come to my home, or get me on the phone and tell me what to do. And they would have told me not to open the door unless they have a warrant. Now, as I was talking earlier, that there's 3 ways to get in the house. 1, you open the door. 2, they can enter it if a crime is in progress. And 3, if they have a warrant. Now, a warrant is a documentation. It's a piece of paper that will say warrant on there. It's legal paper, but it's signed by a judge with a wet signature. You should have the date, and the date should be on a weekday. and not a holiday, because sometimes weekdays are holidays. And of course, not the weekend, because they don't meet on the weekend or holidays. They only meet on work days. And some have night court and so forth, but it's a work day. So you check to see if the date is legit. Then it should have the name of you and anybody else being accused and what you're being accused of. It also should list the children involved. Those things be in there. And then there should be specific instructions what they can do. Like they can come to your home and enter your home and do an inspection, or they can come to your home and talk to you, or they can come home and take your child. And they should give an address and a date they can do that on. If all that jives up and the warrant looks legit, there's nothing you can do about it. You can ask them, can you wait and have my attorney present? Maybe the attorney you have on file all the time. That's why I think legal insurance is important, because you can get an attorney right away with legal insurance. They'll cover the retainer and they'll help defend you. They'll help you defend you. It's like, when you go in a storm and your roof gets blown off, or a hurricane, whereas when you contact your insurance agent, they come out and they repair the roof. Well, the same thing works with lawyer's insurance, legal insurance. It's called legal. There's many types of it. Some of it's really cheap. And I'm not talking about LegalZoom or some of the cheap ones. I'm talking about regular ones with regular attorneys that can fight not only CPS, but maybe fight on DUI, because that's a serious offense. I mean, you may need an attorney for other things. And a court-appointed attorney should be the last resort. It's hard to find a pro bono attorney, too. The pro bono are just as bad as the court-appointed. So, hello, Christina. Christina is saying it would case a long time ago. I don't know if you get legal insurance that can handle an old time case. With any kind of insurance, it's just like if you've gone through a hurricane and your house is partly destroyed, you didn't have insurance, and all of a sudden you buy insurance and say you want to be covered. No, I think it's only on new claims. Your insurance has got to be in place for new claims. New claims. But I found a person or a couple entities that will do it. I was told that would be $500 a year, and it could take $500 a year, and or more or whatever. But even $1,000 premium, and you divide that by uh, so if you could pay like $100 a month for legal insurance, yes, I know you're gonna have household insurance, that may be another 100, and then if you have car insurance, it's another 100, and that if you have pet insurance, it may be another 100. Yeah, you may pay up maybe $500 a month in insurance premium, but they're a good purpose. They're supposed to protect you, like the one for repairs, like if your washer or dryer breaks, or you have your garbage disposal broken, so forth. You pay a premium. I think I used to pay for it. It's about $400 a year, but then they had a service call of 25. I think it went up to $50, but that's a lot cheaper than paying for a whole brand new refrigerator or a washer or dryer. So I tell people, insurance is not a bad thing. You just got to shop around. Again, that's another life skill. I have so many life skills I can help you out from my experience. But I looked at the clock now, and it's time for me to end the show. I want to thank Christina Reynosa from Las Vegas area. Andrea Pruzeska, I'm glad to see you again. And you said, what's the best way to file against a case worker, like grievances. That's a civil lawsuit, Andrea, a civil lawsuit. Thank you two for writing your things, Christina and Andrea. I hope to see you later at 1 o'clock today. We can talk more. And then at 6 o'clock. I'm on 3 times a day. And thank you for the emojis. I got 2 people with thumbs up. That's great. Thank you. So anyway, there'll be a brief video that will pump you up about getting an attorney. And so I want you guys to have a good morning, and I'll see you in my afternoon live stream. God bless you. And this is Bob Pace signing off. Watch the video.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted, and if you go against then it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce him. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last ones left. But